from left to right. It's the 21st all-time meeting between the Blazers and the Mean Green. North Texas leads the all-time series between these two programs, 12 games to 8. Their most recent meeting last year as Lampkin doesn't waste any time. February, 95-77, North Texas on top. They've won the last two meetings between these two former Conference USA foes that made the jump to the American together. Nicely done by Sarah Bershers as she lofts it in, taking a look at the North Texas starting five on their opening possession. No Desiree Wooten today. She's out with an ankle injury, suffered that in the matchup against Charlotte. Something significant to keep an eye on because she's an X factor for this North Texas team, and when she's not available, they're missing a huge part of what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been an energizer bunny on both sides of the ball, and they have depth. Next person up has been what the season has been for them. Remember, Kyla Deck went out early with a concussion, and that's when Jacqueline Moore emerged. They've had a lot of different players step up, and Shania Price gets the start today.
And Price working in the fold for the first time as a starter. And White.
Yeah, she had the game-winning steal last game, which was a big play, and has had many clutch moments and clutch plays.
The UAB starting five, the same as what we've seen from Randy Norton as of late. Norton in his 12th year as the head coach with UAB. Over 200 wins now during his time in Birmingham. This one grabbed by Price immediately.
It's kind of a 50-50 play. She sprints to it, draws the foul. An important foul for UNT on UAB's leading scorer. Or I should say leading scorer inside.
Sure. And one of the more effective scorers across the board. This UAB team has struggled at times to put points up, yet they're still fourth in the American in terms of points per game as a team. 68 on average. This one blocked off of the perimeter. Maddie Walsh got a hand on it, misdirects the shot. UAB with a couple of defensive stops to begin in this one.
Yeah, the hard part for UAB is they are without their starting point guard, Journey Armstead, former national champion last year at Hutchinson Junior College. She is a big part of what makes this team go.
Pass ahead for Lampkin. She put, it goes the other way. Our three officials in this American Conference matchup. Jeffrey Smith leads the crew with Brandon Interline and Crystal Appleains. This one lost on the drive from Moffitt, picked up by Moore. Wants to run with Price, left side of the lane, cut off quickly by UAB. Lampkin in the paint, so effective. Hardaway, that one swatted by Walsh as well, fighting for the loose basketball, and they grab it.
Walsh already with 2 blocks in this game, making her defensive presence felt, trying to get the 3 to go. Didn't knock down, but an offensive rebound for Weathersby.
She is the all-time, or excuse me, not all-time, but current minutes leader in the American. On average, she plays over 36 minutes a game. This one ripped away by Hardaway. Ariana Hardaway, the junior out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, to Anaya Johnson on the elbow.
UAB's done a good job defensively, making it challenging for the Mean Green. Haven't been able to get a field goal or even on the boards yet. Misha Lampkin tries to get the jumper to go. Not yet.
You talk about the effective defensive presence right now for UAB. North Texas has rarely had a paint touch in the opening 3 minutes. Moffitt to Weathersby. She can shoot from out there, but she'll drive into the short corner. Picked up by Johnson. 8 to shoot. Drive from Alicia Carter. Missed it. Rebound secured underneath by Johnson, and then she's fouled.
On the other side of the ball, she's bought into that role, become a starter, and really has taken off. Had her best season as a Mean Green.
Yeah, her growth as a scorer in this offense for Jason Burton has changed the way that teams are able to guard Lampkin. Usually you would give Lampkin all of the attention. Now you can't do that because of what Anaya Johnson can do, and as long as she stays out of foul trouble, she can be very, very effective. Here's Kyla Deck off the bench talking about effective. That's what Kyla Deck can do from the three-point line.
Kyla Deck on deck, comes into the game, no hesitation, letting it fly from 3. Something that they want her to do more of, and she is such a three-point shooter. Dials it up from distance, making it look easy right away.
Already the third foul on UAB. Carter, Weathersby, and Bershers all have one. Drive from Lampkin. Missed it. Brannon there off the bench early. The transfer from Louisiana.
Her signing her, really thought she fit this team, and unfortunately with the injury, hasn't been able to show it on the floor as much. They've loved her impact off the floor.
Hardaway off the baseline, hits it from just underneath the American logo. That's her first make of the day, and North Texas extends the lead. UAB wants to get it back. Tracy Bershers, one of the only two returning starters from last year's Blazers team. And now more roster right now that have made an impact down in Birmingham at Bartow Arena. Coach Norton looking to end the conference slate on a high note against the reigning American Coach of the Year, Jason Burton.
Well, if you remember last year, too, this game was two teams that were at the top of the standings when they played here in Denton. Was a big matchup at that time, and he's done a terrific job with his program.
Yeah, the 6-10 record in American play, not exactly what Coach Norton and his staff had in mind, but remember, we talked about it in the open. March is where you start making moves, and a win in a matchup like this on the road against a team like North Texas could go a long way to building the confidence and setting up those building blocks going into Dickey's Arena later in the month.
Yeah, and if you remember last year, we talked about a little bit in the open, Rice going into the NCAA tournament, they were a 10 seed, so you just never know in March what may happen.
We'll talk about that March bracket and what it looks like initially as Bershers turns around. That's her second make. She has all 4 points for UAB at the moment.
Yeah, you ultimately want to be playing your best ball going into March, and this being the only conference game for UNT. They want to get it going, and UAB, I believe, has 2 conference games in this month. Nope.
In the Super Pit, but to do so on their home floor, kind of play spoiler on senior day there as well. Against a Rice team that's been playing pretty good basketball as of late. He'll enjoy that opportunity coming up. Here's Jocelyn Moore.
Yeah, they had a monster win against this UAB team here last time out rebounded them 35, especially at home.
Yeah, UAB right now on a 4-game losing streak. They fell on Tuesday to Rice 73-48. They stuck around the Lone Star State, had a little extended stay before this matchup with North Texas. That one poked away by Kyla Deck. Hit the 3 earlier, pickpockets here, and it turns into a layup. The former WAC All-Defensive Team honoree making a difference in Denton.
Yeah, well, just a tenacious defender, just doesn't let you breathe when she's guarding the ball, especially if she smells blood. She's going for the steal and so good at the takeaways.
Another nice feed to Sarah Bershers. Averages 9 points a game. She's already up to 6. She's made all 3 of her shots from the field so far. Hardaway, extra pass. Deck left alone on the corner. She knocks it down. Kyla Deck going off.
She's feeling it. She's taking the pressure off of these seniors on senior day. 2 threes, a steal and a layup, and tenacious defense yet again, really causing the spark off the bench.
Made the necessary adjustment.
Has now contributed to Misha Lampkin getting her first trip to the line from this time. Got stopped with the foul, but still earned her a trip to the line.
It's very rare. She does get the friendly roll on the second free throw. It's rare that you have a player like Tamisha Lampkin who enters after taking her game to the next level. She's added elements like that, where she's out of foul trouble. She's able to work with the basketball, actually ball handle a little bit. She's facilitated at a higher clip. I mean, last year was right around the per game on average. She's had more rebounds per game. She's had more points per game. Her game has improved across the board, and that's special. That's when you know something is going right, whether it's a coaching staff or a player specifically.
Playmaking coach and their staff call her the best point guard in the league because of how she controls the game and does so many things. But the offensive side of the ball, when she scores, it definitely adds a whole nother dimension to this Mean Green attack.
Right now for North Texas, no Desiree Wooten, no problem, except when it comes to Sarah Bershers, already over her season average. She has all 9 for UAB. The rest of the team has been held scoreless, but Bershers looking to get into double figures with her next make.
Yeah, the three-point shooting is something that's big for this UAB squad. To see the first one or to be able to go in gets them a little bit of confidence, and there's followed by number 2.
Jade Weathersby straight away. She knew that one was going in the moment it left her fingertips. She was already a couple shuffles back down the floor. And impressive three-point shooting on the back-to-back possessions from UAB. Hardaway wants to get one of them back, wide open, but she misses. Tracy Bershers secures the rebound. Now UAB can run with it. Possibility to tie or take the lead with this 6-0 run and working on it. Bershers, snipe shot, down low to her sister, Tracy Bershers. Got it to go. We're all tied up at 14.
I think there's a little bit of a connection there, passing to your sister. She knew she had to mismatch. Great job. Because of the switch on the ball screen, Deck was guarding the center inside, and she gets the easy layup.
No doubt about that. Hardaway. Right side of the lane. She loves that spot. From that point forward, it was Jade Weathersby and
elements of the scout. You just always want to celebrate the hidden heroes behind the scenes of what makes college basketball programs go.
That's the thing, is it's not just the head coach, and it's not just the assistant coaches, and it's even down to that where it's not just the student managers. I mean,
right.
It is a entire army for every program. UAB has those as well. Every program across the board.
Yeah, it takes a community. That's what you love about college campuses, and you have the trainers, you have the SIDs, you have so many people that contribute to what makes college athletics what it is, and this has been a great contest so far. The defense for UAB has forced another travel, and there you see another triple go down for the Blazers.
And this time it's Maddie Walsh, her first make. She's top 10 in the American in three-point makes, and she secures a rebound here. North Texas has been really struggling since they were up 14-6. A 9-0 run right now from UAB. Make it 11-0 run. The ball movement opening things up for Jade Weathersby down low.
Well, now because you're making threes, it makes the tension and the gravity so much higher to want to close out to the three-point line, and opens up the middle. Nice passing, nice execution on both ends by UAB.
Actually makes it an 11-0 run, or excuse me, a 13-0 run across the board. Still working on the defensive side as well.
Yeah, really clogging the paint, making it hard, showing some zone looks, along with some man-to-man, and taking away what Mean Green wants to do so well. And here you see another height advantage going inside. Good defense by Hardaway.
And she works in the low post.
Yeah, and a well-coached program, a program that's won a ton of games under their head coach, and they're going to do everything they can to respond to that embarrassing loss that they had in Houston.
Lampkin pokes this one away. Now it's a fight. UAB will flip the arrow with the jump ball. Off the inbound, catch and shoot. Weathersby fighting for the board. She got it back. Outside for Walsh. High arcing three, not this time.
Yeah, she got it probably away with what looked like it could have been an over the back, but love that effort and great deep post position. Doesn't finish.
Lampkin calling for a foul. Bounce back to Carter. Look at the ball movement again. Now it's Bershers from the free throw line. Her second make from the field. And the run continues for UAB.
Yeah, the seventh is had an over 20-point loss in Houston, and the ball movement has really been the story on the offensive side of the ball, and the congestion of the paint on defense has been also the story.
The trap works to perfection. Johnson gets a fingertip on it. It secures to Deck. Now, Jocelyn Moore goes right back to Deck, and they reset on the perimeter. Toss down low. There's that post positioning for Lampkin. Her first make from the field. She has 4 points on the day, and that ends a 15-0 UAB run.
Hasn't been able to have Misha Lampkin, hasn't been able to have that deep a position because of the defense for UAB. I think the hope for Mean Green is that you can get more position like that as the game goes on and the game settles.
Pump fake. Tracy Burschers to the free throw line. His patience from UAB has been significant as well. Not rushing into bad looks. Walsh wants to drive on Moore, goes high with this one off the floater. And Molly a foul here in the first half. Now 6 of the 7 Blazers that have hit the floor have at least one foul. Kyla Deck lines it up, and again from three-point land. They needed that one. That's her third.
She's been known to get cooking when it goes well for her. She had a game earlier in conference play where she did not miss a shot, 7 of 7 from the field. She is mimicking that performance right now, 4 of 4 and 11 points in the first half.
Floater from Carter answers for UAB. North Texas was making a charge. Still have it within 2 possessions. Deck, the leading scorer in the ball game, first player into double figures. Drives to the elbow.
Just kind of that shot fake. Again, debatable whether it's a travel or not.
That one nearly an over at back and a travel at the same time, but it is kept alive by the Blazers. Moffitt to Walsh. Walsh fits it down low to Burschers.
You have to play on the road to beat a team like North Texas. The whole thing, as well as they're playing, it's only a 5-point lead, now 6-point lead for UAB. So have to be able to continue that if you're UAB, and if you're Mean Green, they're known to go on some pretty big spurts at points in the game at home.
Seen each team go on a bit of a run here in this one, but UAB owns the biggest run of 15 points without North Texas with an answer. Lofted up for Hardaway, catch and shoot from three-point land. This line drive
to go in the second quarter, already has 11 points.
Deck was a starter for this North Texas team initially. He started the first 13 contests before she left the game early in conference play with a concussion. And once she missed a couple of games, came back. Jocelyn Moore was balling out. Coach Burton said, do me a favor, I want you to be the catalyst off the bench. She said, of course, whatever you need me to do. She became the role player and still had good minutes, still had starter quality minutes, but would work in a rotation.
Yep.
And then she steps up in a moment like this where she's also still working off the bench, but filling in a role that Desiree Wooten in a void that she's left with her injury. It helps the entire team get better.
Yeah, and you see it today with Shania Price starting still so that Kyla Deck can come off the bench. You know, Coach Burton found a formula last year with that with Deani Robinson. She earned 6th Player of the Year. And here you see the defense leading to offense, something that they love to be able to do is play in transition, get comfortable doing that, and they're getting more.
Her makes have been from point-blank range inside that restricted zone underneath the hoop. Just mishandled that one. It might have been another bucket if she could hold on to that basketball.
Yeah, key for UAB in this game was to force turnovers. They've been able to force 7 so far. Whether they're forced or unforced, they've been able to get Mean Green to turn it over. That is a key for them to continue.
UAB from the floor off the baseline kept that ball alive. She gets right back up. Now it's Molly Moffitt on the baseline drive. Back to Walsh. Her triple missed it. What an effort from the Blazers to keep that possession alive and at least give it an opportunity. Right back to Lampkin. She holds on to this one. Goes up and under the hoop, but too strong.
Yeah, a little bit too strong, but a good catch. They didn't turn it over. If only she could have gathered and gone off 2. But she's so great at finishing. The #1 field goal percentage scorer in the conference. And here you see her going coast to coast, as I mentioned earlier. Gets the block and who's one of the key contributors to UAB. So that aggressiveness pays off, although the free throw doesn't go.
Now Lampkin misses the freebie. North Texas gets to the free throw line and makes more free throws than any other team in the American. Part of the post presence that they employ with Lampkin and Johnson, that both have some high numbers from the free throw stripe this year. Defense, a little more energy here from Jason Burton's squad. Bershers backs down outside the Carter. Pump fake. She readjusts and knocks down the triple.
Yeah, nice shot fake. Good patience and really had nowhere to go on that possession. A bailout three that was really well earned off the shot fake.
And they needed that one to fall. North Texas had put together a quick 6-0 run in their own right over the last 4 possessions. Price wants to cut through a couple UAB defenders. And
goals are starting to get into an offensive rhythm.
Deck off the inbound. Bounces to Price. Price with some good contest.
Shoot the air ball that short. Good thing that you have multiple referees that can talk about it and get those things corrected.
And I think that was the right call across the board. Kyla Deck, catch and shoot, looking for another one from deep. That's the first time she's missed in this one. 13 points, had knocked down all 3 from downtown. But now just 3 of 4. Poked away. Jocelyn Moore with the active hands. Pickpockets Alicia Carter.
Yeah, Jocelyn Moore is a player that's in the top 25 in blocks and steals. She does so much defensively, and there you see her right on time with the offensive rebound. Putback, number 4, Moore doing a little bit more there.
She flew across the paint, found that one at the perfect time. She was already headed that direction. Caught it in stride and made it an easy move to the hoop. North Texas trailing by 1. UAB off the strength of Carter's 3 have that 1-point advantage. It's been a different energy on the defensive end of the floor after the timeout. Carter misses this one. Kyla Deck outside. Jocelyn Moore, her triple short. Final 30 seconds of the first half here on Senior Day at the Super Pit. When we come back, we'll check in with the American and some powerful minds. Plus, we'll take a look at March Madness and what we can expect now that it is officially March in college basketball.
It's very hard for them to run that awesome flow offense that they have, that they get so much good action that we saw earlier with their player movement and all the assists they were able to get.
Plenty of time here. Motion starting here. Hardaway. Back to Jocelyn Moore. Extra pass. Kyla Deck open out of the corner, but she misses at the buzzer.
The second half. That's why we get to tune in and watch it all unfold.
20 down, 20 to play here in Denton at the Super Pit. Quickly they go to Jocelyn Moore outside for Kyla Deck, trying to continue her hot shooting day. And she does just that to give North Texas the first lead of the second half.
Yeah, good adjustment again at halftime. She's played so well. How do you not start her in the second half? Gets the first look against the zone.
Now outside, Bershers. We talked about how those two were dueling in the first half. You could see an impact from both teams, or at least a thought from both teams to get them the basketball. That could be a more impactful storyline as the night goes on. Walsh picks up her second. This one off the mark. Weathersby gets the carom. Ahead of the pack. Molly Moffitt bounces back to Bersher. She lines it up from 3, and the dueling continues.
Yes, it does. Cannot leave those two open in this game. They're letting it fly with great accuracy from distance.
Bersher's up to 12 points. The 15th time this year that she's been in double figures. Kyla Deck goes inside, carves through the Blazer defense.
Kyla Deck had a 27-point game. I believe it was the second game of the season here. Hasn't had this kind of scoring outburst since Temple, but she is really playing well.
And now it's Moffitt with the misdirection and a pump fake in the paint. All 5 scorers for UAB have now scored. Why not go right back to Deck? She tried to squeeze it in a tight window to Tamisha Lampkin and turns it over.
Well, UAB likes to play fast too because it allows their player movement and being able to attack from 3 to be effective. They don't necessarily want to play half court as much, but they are grooving in the second half. Haven't missed a basket other than that first shot.
You see the back in the fourth. The lead changes and the ties in this one. That's some good ball movement. What an action to find Anaya Johnson wide open into the paint. She goes.
Yeah, that quick sprint screen, acting like you're going to set the screen and dives to the basket. Great pass, good execution. This is a lot of fun seeing both teams play their best offensive basketball right now, trading baskets.
Might be even more fun for UAB. Kyla Deck, transition, she got it to go. Another three for Kyla Deck.
Make it rain, young lady, let it fly. She is sharp shooting with the best of them. She said UAB's known for shooting. I'm going to show you how I'm known for shooting as well. Deck really stepping up. 5 of 7 now from long distance.
UAB has hit 5 threes as a team. Kyla Deck has hit all 5 threes for North Texas. See if they try and get it back to her. A heat check moment possibly for Deck. Into the low block. Instead, it's Lampkin. She gets it
in a game as a team, let alone have one player shoot it at this kind of a rate. And what a great time in March. You know, everyone wants to take away the paint. Great to see her playing with such confidence.
Lampkin fights through contact and gets it to go. She's now into double figures for the 12th time in the last 13 games.
Yeah, Misha Lampkin, I mean, what a story. Tyler Deck again on defense, and here you see the coast-to-coast from Misha Lampkin.
But she smokes the layup, and it's rebounded by Bershers. That's a rarity. You don't see that from the preseason.
Side for the entire game, and you also see more turnovers. You see their defense start to get even more energized. That last one, Price was able to knock it away from the ball handler and force a foul, which gets another turnover.
Yeah, it's really been Lampkin and Deck. They combined for 29 of the North Texas 39 points. Carter jumps in the passing lane, takes this one away. Ahead for Weathersby, she gets pickpocketed by Lampkin. Both teams trading steals.
The first 4 minutes of this quarter.
11-2 in that category. 7-0 run for North Texas. UAB has turned it over 3 times in the last 2 minutes. See if they slow it down here and try and get back to that deliberate style of offense that we saw in the first half. Spinner from Weathersby into the low block. She's working against Jalen Talley.
In the first start of the third quarter, the defense again, adjustments and getting comfortable. That premium gas only mantra is something they fuel up with often at halftime.
Deck. You can see the entire North Texas bench was waiting for her to release again. Instead, it's Jocelyn Moore straight at it.
Opinion from being able to watch the last 2 years right here on the headset next to you. I think she unanimously should be there. I don't even think it should be a question.
Sure.
She's the winningest player to ever play here. She's the all-time leading rebounder. She's had the 2 best records so far. They win today. It'll be the 2 best records in school history. On top of that, not to mention, if she can have 3 more double-doubles, she'll be #1 in double-doubles as well.
Yeah, you look at career points, she currently sits 3rd and has a chance to climb into 2nd even in that category, as Price has this one knocked away. She'll be the first player with 900 rebounds. She could hit that by the end of the day if she continues at a high level. Blocks, she could be the top in blocks. I mean, almost every major category that matters to a forward, that matters to a post player.
No question. Field goal percentage, she's up there. I mean, you just keep going down the line. There's nothing she doesn't do. That's why they refer to her as Mrs. Everything. She is the top dog, and it's been amazing to be able to watch her career.
Today, the difference maker has been Kyla Deck, though. Both Deck and Lampkin have been the go-to, and North Texas now on a 12-0 run. Remember, UAB jumped out in front because of a 15-0 run from the end of the first quarter into the start of the second.
Yeah, and really, if you take away that run, the overall, they have struggled more than they've just had a flow to what they want to do. They've been disrupted defensively. They had to take a lot of tough contested shots. Got to give them credit on being able to make shots like that. So much length and size for Walsh. She's a very talented player and one of the best in this conference at what she does.
That one silences what was once a 12-0 run. Price And North Texas killing some clock here on this possession. Fresh off their largest lead of the day, Deck send that one off the, whereas Lampkin has a make in the second half. She also has a rebound to go along with it. North Texas
stops, getting to the foul line, and when they can make threes, it really makes it going to put pressure on the defense with attacking offensive plays that gets him to the line like that one.
Deck up to 23 points. You mentioned earlier about how her debut in a North Texas uniform, she put up 27 points. Hasn't put up this type of production since then, as this one goes in and out. And all of a sudden, UAB has gone cold on the offensive side. A couple turnovers and now a couple missed shots as well. See if they go right back to Deck and Lampkin. Lampkin from the free throw line, looking for an outlet. She'll go into the corner. Shania Price, she'll put up a three, missed it. Weathersby can't secure the rebound with one arm, and here goes Lampkin attacking. But this one above the rim. Carter. Now Weathersby calling for someone to set a screen. She'll line it up, straightaway three. Looked pretty out of the hand, but doesn't go.
Yeah, they're just so glad to get daylight. They've gotten a couple good looks. They haven't been able to get them to fall. Three-point shooting, such an integral part of what they want to do in their offensive attack. Staying in this zone, going 2-3 now. Get it inside to Lampkin. What a pass. She's had some finishes she normally makes. But they've been able to get into her with that deep position.
That pass really told Lampkin with the momentum where to go with the basket.
Just doing it all, number 12 is one of her best games for sure in a mean green uniform.
Carter. Back to Walsh, who's been quiet. She can heat up at any point. 7 to shoot. Weathersby. Back to Carter. Carter, side stab. Quick trigger on the three. Missed it. Offensive rebound to UAB, but not for long as Tally takes it away.
Yeah, UAB's one of their last 8 field goals, and only a matter of time before Lamp
to be a part of or get invited to. Last year, of course, part of the WBIT challenged TCU in that matchup in a true road game. It was out in Fort Worth against the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, one thing about this team, as much as they won a conference championship last year, this team, if they win this game and can win more, they're going to have a better record than last year. Last year they had 5 losses. I think the thing about this team, you mentioned the depth. They have 4 different players who have had 20 points or more in a game. Very few rosters have that kind of a explosiveness, and people have just stepped up when they've been needed.
And defensive prowess has been much better this year. They can still score at a high level, much like they did a year ago as Moffitt ends the run. I think if you talk to anybody on the staff or that have spent some time with this North Texas team, Jacqueline Moore being one of those, she's up to 10 points for the 4th straight game. But they would all say this team is built better than last year's team.
Yeah, the
defense. You're starting to see that by the record.
Yeah, the defense of this team, and even though they don't have Desiree Kearney and Deanne Robinson, they still have depth. Johnson is an elite defender and allows Lampkin to not have to be the primary defender inside. And again, you have to earn baskets like that possession. Great job by UAB finishing, but almost got blocked by 2 different defenders.
Final 5 seconds. Kyla Deck trying to stay hot. Into this one coming up from Denton, Texas. One more game. They do have an extra game on the schedule, so keep that in mind moving forward as Kyla Deck pickpockets off the inbound. It starts the 4th quarter, much like she dominated the first 3.
Speaking of extras, she said, I want an extra steal. I want more points. I want to turn this thing up. Career high 34 at CBF Austin when she played there. She is turning back the dial to the beginning of the year. Looks like she'll have her North Texas career high, 27. She could break that. She already has 25.
I think it would be a mistake if they didn't get it to her. Here you go for that career best. Not going to happen on cue. I see what you were trying to do there, Brian.
Just set it up a little bit, still got a little point guard in me.
Trying to facilitate even from the sideline. Weathersby has been doing that all day. Knocks down this shot on her own. Alongside Brian Burton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. One of 5 games in the American Conference today as Jocelyn Moore wants another 3, and she'll hit it. Her 3rd of the afternoon, up to 13 points on her senior day.
Well, the great thing about this for this team, again, we talk about playing March. That was a key for North Texas in this game. The fact that Moore and Deck are getting going from 3, that's a huge part of them being confident going into the rest of this month, because if they can make 3s and great pass, and again, what makes Misha Lampkin's
crew put together by Cody Eastwood, Matthew Wilmarth, and by Jordan Woodruff running the whole department. Taylor Bryan above them. They've had a great student crew across the board. I'm going to read off some of these names during the next dead ball, but it's tough.
Yeah.
You take a lot of time away from your studies, a lot of time away from your family if you get the opportunity to work in holidays and stuff like that. And
yeah, similar to how we shout out Jackson as a student manager and student assistant. Got to be grateful to those unsung heroes that are doing. They are the real MVPs, as Kevin Durant would say.
And I will say, just on a technical level, can't speak for the announcer side of things, but every day it's a pride that they take in their event because they want to put on a network quality production, and they certainly do so across the board. So great job, everybody, as North Texas has put on a professional level display in the second half of this one. There's Tamisha Lampkin. She'll be a pro one day, cutting through a couple defenders and keeping her point total very high.
She just makes it look easy. You know, some people are just so gifted and talented at what they do. They make it look easy. It is not easy to put up the numbers and make the plays she makes.
17 points for Lampkin to go along with 7 rebounds. Price. Now Hardaway wants the drive, had the separation on her defender, missed it, but Johnson's there. Goes back to Price on the cutter, draws a foul.
And then letting them know. But yeah, Misha Lampkin just to break more records, not only as a player, but also with the team. She has been just absolutely awesome, and another offensive rebound for Mean Green.
Yeah, she's within 5 rebounds of hitting 900 on the career. Probably not going to hit it today.
Length, the athleticism, the speed, the determination. That's what makes Anaya Johnson's defensive rebounds, and has really just bought into her role. She started the first time against Houston, and they got the first Power 4 win of the Mean Green, Jason Burton era, and Anaya Johnson hasn't looked back since.
The Berkshire sisters on the perimeter. It'll be Tracy Berkshires on the drive, pickpocketed by Price.
So good defensively. You think about the upside of a freshman. You're just trying to figure out how to get on the floor, and she's really done a great job having an identity similar to what we talked about with Anaya Johnson. Her length and activity and awareness and IQ on defense has been awesome.
Kyla Deck for her North Texas.
Johnson all fighting each other for that one.
That's the type of culture that Jason Burton wants for his North. Another turnover.
That was a small play by Hardaway, but she did the bluff and recover there where she had to cover 2 people and made it a little bit of a confusion who she was going to pick up and forces the turnover.
Running out of time, they do get it ahead. Cross half court with just a second to spare. Lampkin had that one blocked initially. She went right through Berkshires. 19 points for Tamisha Lampkin.
And instead of looking at Berkshire deflect, she looked at the referee deflects to say, hey, I think I got fouled on that. You didn't call it. I'm showing my muscle anyway. UAB just not able to get any separation. Close friend of mine and of Coach Burton's, and one of the elite basketball coaches in the country. I know everyone knows how good Grant McCaslin was when he was the head coach, but Grant would tell you it was a co-head coach when he, and as their Mean Green defense is second in the country behind Houston in the defense again this year.
North Texas women trying to put together some good defense. They've been tremendous here in this second half. Just 19 points allowed since the break. They've held UAB scoreless in their last 6 attempts from the field. Moore driving, takes the contact through Carter and gets it to go off the glass. 15 points for Jocelyn Moore.
Yeah, just an elite competitor. Her resume, the biggest emergence was in that Tulsa game when Kyla Deck was out as a starter at the time, and Jocelyn Moore has been a two-way player, really has improved as a defensive player, guarding some of the league's best players, and has taken
discipline on the defensive end. Still being a great defender. She hasn't taken a step backwards in her intensity by any stretch, but she certainly is a great defender no matter what.
Yeah, Coach Burke going for as many blocks. She's had some games where she's played wire to wire 40 minutes in conference play, and again, talk about just the growth and maturity of the player development in this program, not only from a physical standpoint, but from an IQ standpoint. Speaking of development, that's one of those players to watch in this conference, as she is just a sophomore. Shooting threes, she plays inside, great athleticism. Weathersby has all the tools to be another great one.
Yeah, she had 14 double-figure scoring games last year. She has now 18 this campaign, and she's up to 10. Her 6th straight game with at least 10 points. Hardaway lines up a three. Off the mark for Walsh. Now UAB, at least barring an incredible comeback here, would fall for their 5th straight game. They've had a backloaded schedule to deal with. As now Kyla Deck ties her season high with 27. This is a part of that backloaded schedule, as UAB just hasn't had the answers for the scoring prowess in the second half. There's Weathersby. You can tell the pace starting to pick up. UAB knows that time is not on their side.
Yeah, they're one of their last 7. Now that was the second one of their last 8. They've just really struggled defensively. They've done a good job, North Texas has, of making it hard on them, and this is what they do in the second half.
Jocelyn Moore up in the 20.
Hopefully a sign of things to come. And the other Achilles heel has been free throws, and they're 6 of 10 in this game. Have kept the turnovers down in the second half, only 4 turnovers in the second half. And when they don't turn it over and can really make shots and free throws, they are a tough
in the conference out of 13 teams. In terms of three-point makes going into tournament time, where is the weakness? Where do you beat this team?
Three-point shooting, this team can lock in. They are as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than any team in the league.
And that's the thing you talked about. They only played UTSA once. They played them on the road down in the Convocation Center. Fell in that matchup by 1 possession. It was tight late. And at the end of the day, Karen Aston's ball club got the better of North Texas and won it. But then they split with South Florida, the other team that's at the top of the standings. And then they fell to Tulane on the road in kind of a one-off game early in the schedule where you felt like Tulane kind of snuck up on the Mean Green under a first-year head coach. And
didn't
North Texas,
have Kyla Deck at that time.
Exactly. Didn't have Kyla competition in the American. North Texas is in that list. And it's
taste the conference championship last year. And now, again, these senior mission for that.
Raised the banner in the Super Pit as a conference champion for the first time since 1986. It had been quite some time since they had won a conference title. There, the banners that both were raised by Jason Burton's squad last year. Jocelyn Moore back to Price. Price lines up a three. It's off the front iron. Moore tracks it down, kept it alive with a baseball pass in the corner. Extra effort from the senior in a game where they lead by 16. Lampkin got it to go. What a feed from Moore to put Lampkin at the 20-point mark.
Not only the feed, but she could have went on the right on the reverse bench. You'll see, along with Shamaria Duncan, who is a star. Look, they recruited the team one way, and they've had some injuries, and they've responded so well to break more records and put themselves in position to be in the top 2 or 3 in this conference.
Look at the streak from Lampkin in the lane. 23 points for Lampkin. Ball put on the floor. Kyla Deck already at 27. Continue with me. They weren't transfers. They weren't anybody to keep an eye on, and they got a pretty good taste of that when they put up 117 points against UNT Dallas in the opening game of the Jason Burton era. He's now won 45 games with those two over 2 years as they check out for the final time at the Super Pit.
And the senior Brandon with her 2 points on senior day. Hasn't been the season she wanted with injury, but awesome to be able to come home. She's from Plano and able to get 2 points in her last time in Denton.
Drive and a foul. That's pretty impressive. That's good company.
Great company. Undefeated for 2 years, so the Jason Burton era of success continues here in Denton. You mentioned it with the men's basketball team. Shout out to Zach Babb referring to it as the golden era of Mean Green basketball.
Couple of years. Give a lot of credit to these players, to the coaching staff for doing really the unthinkable. They won a conference championship in year 1. They actually improved their win total in the American in year 2. Won 13 conference games a year ago, raised the banner with it. Now they're going to call a time. Tuesday at Rice. UAB will fall to 6-11 in the American, and they will travel back home to Bartow Arena. They'll play in their senior day against Tulane, 6 o'clock on Tuesday as well. Final couple seconds of this possession, shot clock violation.
I think he's made some pretty great decisions as a athletic director and hiring some basketball coaches. A former Hall of Famer at his alma mater, Abilene Christian himself. Outstanding job by him as well.
That'll do it. Rebound to underneath.